Hey everybody, and welcome to Meals with Melissa, where we come up with some great healthier options for the things that you love. Now, I know it's about camping season here, and for those of you that have the ability to get out and about, and your state parks are opening and you want to go out and have a good time and get back to nature, I don't blame you. That is what I want to do right now as well, just get out of town for a little bit. So it's not impossible to stay with your health goals when camping or doing those fun things for the summer. So I get it, there's gonna be probably some beer involved, but if you can stick to a healthier lifestyle, even when you're out and about, then those few moments that you wanna indulge, then that's fine. The problem becomes when you try to indulge all the time and then you go backwards on your health goals. But now, for those of you that know me, I'm a big fan of it's okay to fall down. You just have to get back up. That's an important part of the process. So today we're gonna do shrimp foil packets. Now this is something I remember as a kid, we would make them in advance and we would take them with us, and then you can throw them in the coals of the fire and you can cook whatever it is that you wanna cook, whether that's ground turkey, maybe a burger and some vegetables. So today we're gonna make something that's super low carb and just really, really easy to do. And the marinade does not contain any sugars or vegetable oil. So we're gonna throw this together super, super quick. Now today I'm actually making mine in my oven because I know you can't see it. It's dark in here a little bit, but it's raining outside at my house. So while my first idea was to try it on the grill, which is also a great option, that is not a great idea for today because I'm just not going outside. All right, so we're gonna start with the marinade. I'm going to make kind of a half-ish, batch-ish. I'm just gonna tell you what's in it, and then you can kind of come up with your own game plan on that. Just what I say when it comes to marinades is be very, very careful. I know a lot of people like teriyaki or some of those other, they have a little bit sweeter option to it. But now you're talking sugar, and that's a problem. So, there's ways around it, there's things you can do, and there's some flavors that you're gonna love that don't require unhealthy ingredients. So today I'm gonna start with a little bit of olive oil, and like I said, I'm gonna make a half-ish batch today with my marinade. I've got one in the oven already, so I can show you what it's gonna look like when it's done. And it's cooking right now. So I'm gonna do, again, for my half-ish batch, I'm going to do 1 tablespoon of the olive oil. Now, macadamia nut oil, avocado oil is great. I don't know how coconut oil would taste in this, but those are usually my go-to choices when it comes to using some healthier fats. Okay, so to that I'm gonna add some spices. Now again, you can absolutely tailor this to meet your needs and your taste buds. I'm gonna add a little bit of dried oregano. This one I'm actually gonna just eyeball it, which I don't normally do, but for today, that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna do about 3/4 of a teaspoon. Again, today I'm just gonna eyeball it because that's just what I feel like doing. To that, I'm also going to add a little bit of paprika. Don't even ask me to say that again. Okay, so I'm gonna add about 1/2 teaspoon, maybe just a little bit more. The initial recipe calls for 1.5 teaspoons. Now this is actually smoked paprika because that is what we like at my house. And I'm just gonna do, like I said, I'm kind of eyeballing everything a little bit. You can kind of do it to taste. As long as you're in the ballpark. If you like one seasoning better than the other, that's great. Now, a couple things. I do have my foil ready to go, my tin foil or aluminum foil, or as they call it in the UK, aluminium. But a couple of things. If you're going to grill or cook this in the fire, you're probably gonna wanna use a heavy duty foil just because you don't want it to burn through. You don't want it to rip and lose all the goodness that are in the packet. So I had to search for this one. This is a ground coriander. And I'm gonna use, again, about maybe 1/2, maybe 1/4 teaspoon. I take the little shaker part off and add that. And then I'm gonna add, now this one, the recipe called for garlic puree, but to be honest, I've already got minced garlic in the house, and while garlic puree actually sounds wonderful, I'm guessing that it's a little more garlic dense. I'm gonna use something that I already have in my house because I have a great big jar from Costco, just because I have a big family. I tend to go there, that's how we roll. All right, so I'm actually gonna use about, I'm gonna say probably 1.5 teaspoons of the minced. The regular recipe actually calls for 1 teaspoon of garlic puree. Again, I looked at it, I thought about it at the store and kind of went, you know what, sometimes you just use what you have in the house. It's not always necessary to go out and buy a bunch of extra stuff. To this, I'm also gonna add just a little bit of salt and pepper to taste. You can see we have like really cute shakers in my house. Okay, some salt, some pepper. Now, You can use any vegetables that you'd like that taste really good cooked. I'm actually today just using some zucchini. You can use some peppers. It also called for cherry tomatoes, which I don't like tomatoes. Even as an adult, really not my gig. But you can throw anything in there that sounds really good. You could even put corn. Remember, that's a carb, not a vegetable. It counts as a starch. You could put some asparagus. Technically, in these kind of foil packets, you can put whatever sounds good and make a really great, easy to eat out of meal that you can take with you camping. Just keep it in a cooler, and when it's time, throw it. Now, you don't want to throw it in the fire. You actually want to put it deep in the white coals down below. There's my oven. I'm going to check on that just really quick. Make sure that, now I don't think I'm going to overcook it. I will tell you, I'm already using pre-cooked shrimp. Honestly, because that's really all they had at the grocery store when I bought it. You know, these times it's kind of a really weird hit and miss as to what you can find in the grocery store. Some days I have zero problems finding what I need. Other days I'm going, what is going on? Where's the peanut butter? Like, I don't get it. So let me just check on that just really quick. It's gonna be nice and hot. And of course, if you're over the fire, over the grill, use tongs, which I probably could do right now. I just want to see if it's cooked all the way through or if I need to stick it in for a few more minutes. So, looks pretty good, but I'm going to guess that the zucchini's not quite cooked enough. I did cut it in smaller pieces, but I'm kind of guessing that it's probably going to need to cook a couple more minutes. So I'm going to throw that back in there. Now, I'm just using the aluminum foil that I had at the house. I mean, we buy ours at Costco because we use a lot. Again, big family. But I also saw an interesting fact. They make foil bags that you can actually put everything in. I don't know how expensive. I didn't look them up, but that's also an option if you're, need something that's a little quicker and faster, easier to put together. But the cool thing about this is technically you could make them according to what each family member likes, have them ready to go, and be able to cook them while you're at the campsite. Okay, so I'm gonna mix this up with a little wire whisk. Actually, this one's not really wire, but that's okay. It's still a whisk. Just to kind of get those ingredients to mix together. And then I'm going to throw in, now in my half-ish batch, and yes, that's what I'm gonna call it from here on, half-ish batch, I've got about 125 grams of shrimp. Now, fortunately I have a scale that actually can do any of the measurements, so I can change it from the modes. I can change from back and forth. So I'm gonna do that into my marinade along with about, I'm gonna say it's about a half, 3/4 cup of zucchini. Again, if you're using other vegetables, it doesn't have to be that. And then I'm actually gonna use a rubber scraper to make sure that that gets nice and covered with all of the marinade. And then we're gonna throw it in the foil and cook it. And then in a second, I'll show you what that's gonna look like. Now, if you you just need to pay attention to your macros. I know that you could add a little bit of butter in this before you throw it into the coals or on the grill. I've already got olive oil in there, so according to my macros, I'm not gonna add any more butter to that. Also, if you wanted to serve it with some rice or quinoa, that's absolutely something you could do. Again, I stay fairly low carb except for around my workouts. But again, it's really according to you and what your choices and your goals are and what works best for you. So again, I'm not gonna make that decision for you today. But again, it's not that difficult to stay healthy if you are prepared. That is part of the deal. So I'm gonna throw this on my foil sheet that I have ready to go. I'm actually gonna pull out that other one that I've got cooking just because I don't want the shrimp to overcook. Yeah, you don't want rubbery shrimp. That doesn't taste very good. All right, so pull that out. And notice I put mine on a pan. It just makes it easier to handle in and out of the oven. In the oven, I'm cooking it at 425 for approximately 10 to 15 minutes. Again, you might want to check it, see how that looks. On a grill, you would probably do it about 10 minutes on one side and then flip it, check it, flip it, and cook it for a few more. If you are cooking a protein heavy option, make sure that the protein is on the bottom of your pack because it obviously needs to hit the heat the longest to make sure it cooks through. And of course, if you're experienced at this, great. Everybody can always use some tips on healthy grilling and how to do it best. Because I don't know about you, I like to be efficient. So I'm gonna put this in the oven. Some of my favorite options, are things like ground turkey or a turkey burger patty. I know Costco makes those really yummy salmon patties. Now again, that's not something I would eat as a regular option. Remember that some of those products do have additives and preservatives in them in order for them to last longer without going bad. So, but for camping, still a healthier option, still something that makes it a little bit easier to take it with you. And that way you can still have a healthier meal versus, no offense, hot dogs are not your best choice. I know they're only good on the fire. I get it. I remember I was a kid once. But you know, eating too many of those, especially if you're gonna camp every weekend, the nitrates in those puppies can add up and it's really not your best option when it comes to your protein. So anyway, we're gonna throw this in the oven. Here's how it's going to look. Now I'm gonna be very careful because again, this is hot. And maybe you'll be able to see the steam. But I just wanted you to see what it's going to look like. Of course, the veggies should be nice and soft. So you'll kind of have to eyeball it and see if you've got about the right timing on. Oh, it's perfect. Honestly, I don't know if you can see it now. I'll try to tip it up just really quick. And I will include this recipe down below, but again, make it yours. The benefit of Pinterest is there's so many great options, and if you know which ingredients are healthier versions and which aren't so great to be adding, sorry, there goes my dogs in the background, you'll know what ingredients to avoid or substitute. See if you can see that there. Again, I don't have all the fun colors of the peppers and the cherry tomatoes. It's not that I don't like peppers, I just didn't grab them. And I do love zucchini, so I'm okay with that. But it looks beautiful. So something great, easy, and technically you can eat it right out of the foil pack. So have an incredible day, you guys. Hopefully your weather's a little bit better than mine. Please, if I could ask anything of the world right now, it's please remember that it's not only about ourselves. It's about everybody as a community. Please just be kind. Thanks, guys. Have an incredible day.